If you hang around Thailand long enough, you're going to hear the same old tired nonsense repeated over and over again. You know, someone at a bar in Pattaya, some old expat in Bangkok, or maybe somebody online in a Facebook group will say, Indians don't spend much money here. Or worse, they sleep on the beach because they're too cheap to pay for a hotel. And of course the classic, 4 or 5 of them share one beer because they're too cheap. Now, these myths have been floating around for decades, and let's be real, they don't come out of nowhere. 20 years ago, yes, you could see big bus tours of Indian tourists sticking to their strict budgets, sometimes bringing their own food, and yes, sometimes drinking less or stretching their money in ways that most Westerners didn't. But that was the old India, the old economy, and the old travel patterns. Here is the truth in 2025. India's economy has exploded. The middle class and upper class are wealthier than ever, and their travel habits have changed. Indians are not sleeping on the beaches, they're not sharing a single beer, and they're definitely not too cheap to contribute. In fact, they are one of the highest spending, fastest growing groups of tourists in Thailand today, and Thailand knows this. I am Scots. I'm an American who's been living here in Thailand for over 30 years. Do me a favor. If you like this video, click like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'd appreciate it. If you want to send me a message, just send me an email to anamerikaninbangkok@gmail.com. You can get a consultation. You can send whatever kind of message you want, good or bad. But there you go, anamerikaninbangkok@gmail.com. Now, the myth of sleeping on the beach. This one is complete garbage. People confuse the migrant workers from Myanmar or Cambodia who sometimes sleep rough when moving around for jobs with the Indian tourists. Indian tourists don't come all the way to Thailand to sleep on the beach like a homeless person. They stay in hotels, they stay in resorts, and they stay in Airbnbs. In fact, hotels across Phuket, Krabi, Hua Hin, and Bangkok rely on them. They rely heavily on the Indian tourist bookings. So if you still believe that Indians are camping out on the beaches, you are living in the past. Maybe you should go there and take a look for yourself. Or maybe, you're mixing up the migrants with tourists. But I would say, if you really believe that, then go there and see who's really sleeping on the beach. The myth of sharing one beer. Another rather lazy stereotype. Do some Indians drink differently than Western tourists? Yes, of course. Some may drink less because alcohol isn't as culturally ingrained in their culture as it is in others. But the idea that 4 or 5 guys all share one beer is pretty laughable. The reality is that Indian tourists spend big on food, nightlife, entertainment, and in Bangkok clubs, in Pattaya, in Phuket, they're dropping cash, not passing around one Singha bottle. What people forget is that drinking isn't the only form of spending. And Indians are booking group dinners, luxury meals, entertainment packages, wedding packages that cost quite a bit more than a few beers. Now, the hard numbers don't lie. There's over 1.6 million Indian tourists that came to Thailand in 2023. And in 2024, the number is somewhere around 2 million. Indians are now one of the top 5 tourist groups in Thailand, and the average spending per trip is 40 to 50,000 baht, which is equal to Western tourists and higher than Chinese group tourists. Their total annual contribution is somewhere around 70 billion baht. So while people joke about one beer, the numbers show the opposite, and Indians are spending real money in real volume. Okay, like I said, they also spend money on weddings, destination weddings. They spend millions. One of the biggest unknown truth is the Indian destination wedding. A single wedding can bring hundreds of guests to Thailand, fill entire resorts, and pump tens of millions of baht into the economy. We're talking about multi day events and luxury catering, entertainment, and world-class venues. Resorts in Phuket, Hua Hin, Bangkok, they actively market themselves for the Indian weddings because the money is so great. Okay, so the idea that the Indians are cheap just doesn't add up when one family can outspend 100 tourists in a single wedding celebration. That's the truth. Like them or not. I mean, maybe some people don't like them. Maybe people have their stereotypes, stereotypes about them. But the bottom line is they spend money. All right, so another myth is that the Indians only go to Pattaya and hang around cheap places. Now, maybe that was true 20, 30 years ago, but today the Indians fly to Phuket, Krabi, Chiang Mai, Samui, Hua Hin, and beyond. They take domestic flights, they rent vans, they spread their money around. This diversification is huge for Thailand because it spreads the tourism money into more provinces instead of just Bangkok and Pattaya. It's another thing. Now, the shopping and lifestyle spending, they spend big on gold, jewelry, luxury goods, and duty-free shopping. Thailand is a major shopping destination for them because gold prices and designs are attractive, and malls like Siam Paragon, Icon Siam, Central Embassy, they all cater to them. Beyond the gold, they spend heavily on group dining, nightlife, and entertainment. So while the stereotype is sharing one beer, the reality is luxury shopping bags and serious mall spending. Okay, so let's just compare the truths and the stereotypes. The sleeping on the beaches myth comes from mixing up migrants with tourists. The sharing one beer myth is lazy and outdated. Some groups spend differently, sure, but Indians are definitely spending, and in many sectors, they're spending more than the tourists who criticize them. The real truth is Indian tourists are keeping hotels full, airlines busy, and entire industries like destination weddings thriving. So let's put this to bed once and for all. Indians aren't sleeping on the beaches. They aren't passing one beer around five guys. They're staying in hotels, booking flights, shopping for gold, eating at restaurants, and yes, partying in clubs. They are one of Thailand's top spending groups of tourists today, and the economy knows it. Now, Indian tourists are responsible for tens of billions of baht flowing into Thailand every year. That's why they are so valued. They are a critical part of the tourism industry, and the importance is only to grow as India's middle class explodes. The myths are outdated. The truth, whether you like them or not, whether you like Indians or not, Indian tourists are a major asset to Thailand. So the next time someone throws out that old nonsense about Indians being cheap tourists, you'll know the facts. They're here, they're spending, and they are a cornerstone of Thailand's tourism future. Okay, so that's all I have. Do me a favor, remember to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That is all I have. So until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Chok di leo jerken mai. That's good luck and see you again. Take care.